Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Imagine being the father who had to make the unthinkable choice, turning in his own son, knowing the whole world would soon find out why. Authorities confirmed that the young man connected to the incident involving Charlie Kirk was handed over by his own father. A moment like that could break any parent. Here's where it gets even more shocking. The suspect isn't the kind of person most would expect. He's just 22 years old. A young man with every advantage most people could only dream of. Reports reveal he was living in a luxury apartment valued at over $600,000, not exactly the profile of someone struggling to get by. But it doesn't stop there. He was also on a residential presidential scholarship, one of the most competitive and prestigious awards available. These scholarships are fully funded, reserved only for the brightest students, the ones expected to shape the future of their nations. To put it simply, this was a young man with both brains and resources. On paper, he had everything: status, comfort, and a golden ticket to success. And yet, that makes the story even darker. Instead of being a tale of potential fulfilled, it's a story of potential lost. Investigators say the profile fits what many had quietly suspected.
We are indebted to law enforcement across the state who's worked seamlessly together, local law enforcement, state law enforcement, and our federal partners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
This wasn't a random act, but something carefully considered. His father, a retired officer, recognized the signs early. Without hesitation, he took control of the situation and handed his son over to the authorities. That decision may have prevented weeks, if not months, of uncertainty.
Charlie was shot at 12:23 p.m. on Wednesday.
Authorities revealed that before his father intervened, the young man had even considered ending his own life, vanishing without facing accountability. It was a chilling discovery. A privileged background, high intelligence, and a promising future, all overshadowed by one irreversible choice. This wasn't just a random act. Authorities now say the motive was political, not religious.
This is certainly about the tragic death, political assassination of Charlie Kirk.
And in a twist few expected, the suspect is from a wealthy Christian family, not an immigrant, not from a minority group, and not part of the opposing political party.
Political violence is different than any other type of violence.
In fact, both parents are registered members of Charlie Kirk's own party. The truth here is unsettling. The greatest dangers to societies, movements, or even faiths often don't come from outside. They rise quietly from within. Charlie Kirk has been laid to rest, and the suspect, Tyler Robinson, will face the full weight of the law.
And I'm proud to be their leader, and I'm proud to be the director of the FBI.
But the bigger question remains: what does this teach us about the real sources of division in our world?
For lots of different reasons. One, because in the very act that Charlie championed of expression, that freedom of expression that is enshrined in our founding documents.
If you want more breakdowns of hidden truths behind the headlines, stay tuned and don't forget to share your thoughts below.
Is an attack on our ideals. This cuts to the very foundation of who we are, of who we have been, and who we could be in better times. Political violence is different than any other type of violence for lots of different reasons. One, because in the very act that Charlie championed of expression, that freedom of expression that is enshrined in our founding documents, in having his life taken in that very act, makes it more difficult for people to feel like they can share their ideas, that they can speak freely. We will never be able to solve all the other problems, including the violence problems that people are worried about, if we can't have a clash of ideas safely and securely. Even, especially those ideas with which you disagree. That's why this matters so much. Over the last 48 hours, I have been as angry as I have ever been, as sad as I have ever been. And it was, as anger pushed me to the brink, it was actually Charlie's words that pulled me back. I'd like to share some of those. And specifically right now, if I could, I need to talk to the young people in our state, in my state, and all across the country. As President Trump reminded me, he said, you know who really loved Charlie? The youths. And he's right. Young people loved Charlie, and young people hated Charlie. And Charlie went into those places anyway. And these are the words that have helped me. Charlie said, when people stop talking, that's when you get violence. He said, the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. The only way out of the labyrinth of suffering is to forgive. Welcome without judgment, love without condition, forgive without limit.